Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Sports. And some big news, World Rugby have officially confirmed the nominees for the World Rugby Awards. A reminder that the Women's Awards have already been awarded, which has shown a fundamental flaw in the process, with Rassie Erasmus having been snubbed once again for the World Coach of the Year, a second year in a row really, and it's just getting a little bit ridiculous, to be honest, the fact that he's just not receiving this award ever. And you look at what he's doing, you look at the way he's reinventing the game, you look at the way the Springboks are playing, look at the dominance the Springboks have, and the fact that, we've awarded the award before we even get to the stage of the year is farcical. And I just don't understand how we have separate categories for men's Player of the Year, Breakthrough Player of the Year, Trial of the Year, Women's Breakthrough Player of the Year, etc., and then we have one World Coach of the Year, and I think it's just ludicrous, to be honest, and needs to be reviewed. The good news, however, is that the Springboks do headline the nominees, with 3 out of 4 of the Player of the Year nominees all coming from the box. Probably the first time ever we've ever had so many nominees, which is really good to see, as well as an award we've often won, actually, the International Breakthrough Player of the Year, Ethan Hooker, getting the nod over there. And that's going to be a very interesting award because there's one candidate who's there, which I think is probably going to get it, but probably should not. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Before we do, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so these are the Breakthrough Player of the Year nominations. We have got Fabian Holland, who played for his debut earlier this year and has played quite a few minutes, actually, to be fair. Started season 4 for New Zealand. Hasn't played so far this in the India tour, but did play a big role against France, for example, amassing 11 caps to his name. Good player. Looks a very good player. I don't mind the nomination either. I think he's a pretty solid nomination. Ethan Hooker, what a breakthrough year it has been for him. And I suppose it's almost more significant for him in terms of a breakthrough year because he's broken into the Springboks, setup. And he's broken into the Springboks setup playing a position that we've always had world-class players. That number 11 jersey, you think of Makazole Mapimpi, you think of Kurt Lawrence, Cheslin Colby, who donned it. You think of Makazole Mapimpi, who's donned it. And he's come through and had some phenomenal moments in that jersey. And I mean, you look at, for example, he played a full 80 minutes against New Zealand. He played both those games against Argentina where the Boks won. He's part of the record-breaking campaign in that rugby championship, and has been a very big part of the Boks squad. Then you've got Henry Pollock, who is the poster boy of rugby at the moment. Love him, hate him. He's a big personality and was always going to get the nomination given all the hype around him. He has taken to international rugby very, very well, but I don't think it should be him, for the simple reason that Henry Pollock has played a total of, let me not lie to you, a total of 140 minutes of Test match rugby. He has played less than 2 full matches of rugby. There is no ways you can be getting World Breakthrough Player of the Year having played less than 160 minutes of Test match rugby. He's played 31 minutes for the Lions against Argentina, and then he's made 4 appearances for England, all off the bench, and to a total of 150 minutes. Yes, he scored 3 tries in the process, so that is quite an impressive start. But I personally think that this award should probably be between the other 3. Joseph-Aukuso Suaalii, that would actually be my go-to for it. In terms of a player who has probably been the most consistent, the most involved, and the most important to his team. Yes, the Wallabies have been awful this year. I do think they've had an absolute mental year when you look at their fixtures, a British and Irish Lions series, followed by a very tough rugby championship schedule, and now a mental tour at the end of the year. They've had it really rough, have the Wallabies, but he's been very good for them. And he's been playing week in, week out, 80 minutes, putting in big shifts. I think he's got 4 tries across the year so far. He's started all those games, and he's been very, very good. So I personally think that he is, for example, now a definite Test match rugby player, as I think is Ethan Hooker, as is Fabian Holland. I don't think Henry Pollock is an established international yet, to be perfectly honest. And you look at the stats, and they back it up. So I think that Joseph-Aukuso Suaalii would be a very deserving winner. My gut says that Ethan Hooker probably just won't make it, although I think he'd be a deserved winner there. If it's Henry Pollock, it continues to show this whole World Rugby process is a joke. However, These are the nominations for World Rugby Men's 15th Player of the Year, and it's back-to-back nominations for Pieter-Steph du Toit. He became the first ever South African player to win the award for the second time when he got it last year. It's also a second nomination for Malcolm Marx, who was nominated back in 2018, and this is a deserved nomination. He has been phenomenal this year, really back to his best. A couple of weeks ago against France, we saw the Malcolm Marx of old in the absolute best version of himself. Bielle-Biarrey for me, I think it's a bit of a controversial one. I personally think that Ty Byrne is potentially a potential snub there. But at the end of the day, also, you don't want to have three. I mean, to have 3 forwards, only one backline player, for me, is progress. My World Rugby Player of the Year, come on, you've got to recognize him. Nche in Nche. Ox has been phenomenal once again. He has been a cornerstone of this box side for so long. He is the best prop in the world. He's the best scrummager in the world. He's so good in open play. His consistency of performance is second to absolute none. And this has to be the year we recognize that. I don't think a prop is yet. In fact, I know a prop is yet to win a World Player of the Year, and no one would deserve it more than Ox Nche, a player who made his debut in that Welsh game in Washington. Had to go away. Had to get back into the mix. Had to sort of rise through in a position where we have Stephen Kitsoff, Bielle-Biarrey, one of the two of the best Springbok props we ever had. And I would go as far to say that right now, Ox Nche probably enters the chat in the top 3 best props we've ever had. And I'm including Bielle-Biarrey in that, probably like an Oosterhuis in that. I think that he's reached a level that no other Springbok prop has ever reached in the history of the game. And the consistency in which he brings. So you got to think that, I mean, it'll be a pretty unpopular decision if of those 4 players, Bielle-Biarrey gets it and it's another backline player. Pieter-Steph du Toit, I think, has been very good. I think it's a deserved nomination. I just don't think anyone comes to the consistency that Ox Nche has produced. And I really, really hope World Rugby recognize that. A man who should be on the nominations list is Rassie Erasmus. But no, we decided to award that before the end of the year with the Women's Awards because John Mitchell has been awarded it. Again, 2 problems. First of all, you should never be awarding an award which includes the men's game before the men's season's up. That's problem number 1. I mean, that's just farcical in itself. How can you sit there and make that award where it's supposed to be combined across the game when the seasons are not done, for example? And you haven't got... I mean, you look at the year that Rassie Erasmus might have if he beats Ireland this year. I don't think there's been a team that's been as dominant as this in the last 10, 15 years. Maybe last 10 years. Last 15, you can probably talk about the 2011, 2015 All Black side. Since then, however, this has probably been the most dominant period by an international side we've seen. And Rassie is still not getting the recognition for it. John Mitchell did a good job, but I mean, that English side, for example, were favourites going into the World Cup and won the World Cup at home. So was it that big of an achievement for him? The All Black side, obviously, the Fern side, a very good side. But there's still, you look at the difference between the best women's sides and the sort of 5, 6, 7th ranked women's sides versus the men's game. Men's game at the moment, I think, is closer than ever, and yet the box just had to be a level below. So to not even have him in the conversation because you've awarded the award already is just farcical. It is absolutely farcical, and this is why World Rugby do not do themselves any favors because he should be walking away with that award. He should. The easy way to get around this is to have a men's coach of the award and a women's coach of the year of the award. The seasons are different. The competitions are different. The entire ecosystem is different. You cannot judge them the same. Much like all of a sudden last year, you get 7 coaches winning the award. It's completely different. You can't judge a coach who's doing a 7 season for like 3-4 months versus a international coach versus a women's coach which has got different competitions versus a World Cup year, etc., etc., etc. So it's a bit of a joke, to be perfectly honest, and it needs to change. The good news is I'm thinking that we're going to walk away with at least 1 award, because I think that surely we walk away with Men's Player of the Year. Maybe a surprise in Ethan Hooker winning the Breakthrough Player of the Year. Who would be your award winners? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.